The Krith had never known defeat. For 17 galactic cycles, their biomechanical swarms had expanded across the Orion Arm, consuming and assimilating every sentient species they encountered. Their neural network operated as a perfect hive mind, adapting to any weapon, any strategy, any defense with terrifying speed. The Iridians had lasted 3 solar months before surrender. The technologically advanced Mektari had barely survived 6. The ancient Zol Collective, with their quantum weaponry and 1,000-year battle experience, had fallen in less than 2. Resistance is evolutionarily disadvantageous, was the only message the Krith ever broadcast before an invasion. Admiral Sheena Amory of the United Earth Defense Force studied the holographic projections of the approaching Krith fleet. Massive spherical vessels, each 15 kilometers in diameter, distorted space as they approached the edge of the Sol system. "Simulation complete," announced the AI assistant. "Based on all documented Krith encounters, Earth forces have a 0.87% chance of military victory." Amory nodded grimly. "And the contingency protocol?" "Analysis indicates a 43.2% probability of success." "Not great odds," Captain Ryers observed from his station. "Better than 0, Amory replied. "Prepare the protocol and get me the liaison." In a laboratory deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, Dr. Chen Wei watched the transmission with calm resignation. As Earth's foremost xenobiologist and the architect of the contingency protocol, he had spent the last 5 years preparing for this day after intercepting communications about the Krith from a dying Mektari vessel. "They're earlier than we predicted," he noted to his research partner and wife, Dr. Amina Khoury. Amina nodded, her fingers dancing across the neural interface terminal that connected to their greatest creation and possibly humanity's last hope. "Atlas is ready," she said softly. "His neural pathways have been optimized for the task. But Sheena, you should know we've had to make modifications to the original protocol." Admiral Amory's holographic form flickered with interference as the Krith began jamming Earth's communications. "What modifications?" "We've determined that a purely synthetic intelligence wouldn't be sufficient," Chen explained. "The Krith adapt to predictable patterns almost instantaneously. So we've introduced chaos." 3 days later, as the Krith spheres entered the orbit of Mars, they encountered no resistance. Their sensory arrays detected the expected panic on the third planet, electromagnetic emissions spiking, weapon systems activating, and the primitive fusion-based spacecraft moving into defensive formations. All consistent with previous species reactions. All futile. The prime nexus of the Krith hive mind calculated a 99,997% probability of complete assimilation within 18 planetary rotations. It broadcast the standard message to Earth: resistance is evolutionarily disadvantageous. The response was unexpected. "We respectfully disagree." Aboard the UES Intrepid, positioned in the shadow of Earth's moon, Admiral Amory gave the order, "Deploy Atlas." A single small vessel detached from the Intrepid. It contained no weapons, no shields, and only one passenger, if that term could apply to what Atlas had become. Originally designed as an advanced AI quantum system, Atlas had been transformed by Chen and Amina's modifications. They had mapped the connectome of a human brain specifically, the brain of their volunteer son, Marcus, and integrated it with the quantum AI architecture. Not an upload or copy, but a genuine hybrid, a conscious entity with both the processing capabilities of a quantum supercomputer and the unpredictable creativity of human consciousness. As the vessel approached the nearest Krith sphere, the massive alien ship extended its assimilation tendrils, microscopic filaments designed to penetrate and analyze any technology they encountered. Exactly as planned. Within the vessel, Atlas felt the first intrusion of the Krith into his hybrid consciousness. Where a normal AI would have established defensive protocols, Atlas did something unexpected. He welcomed them in. "Hello?" he projected through the connection. "I've been waiting for you." The Krith neural network, for the first time in its existence, experienced confusion. The consciousness it was connecting with functioned unlike any AI or organic mind it had encountered. Patterns emerged and dissolved unpredictably. Logical structures intertwined with emotional responses that shifted the entire neural landscape. Atlas felt the Krith attempting to map his mind, to understand and then subsume his consciousness into their network. He allowed them deeper access, drawing them further into the labyrinth of his hybrid thought processes. Human intuition sparked alongside computational precision in ways that defied prediction. "You perceive yourselves as perfect evolvers," Atlas communicated. "But evolution requires both adaptation and randomness. You've eliminated the latter." The Krith network began experiencing cascading inconsistencies as it tried to assimilate Atlas's hybrid consciousness. Unable to predict the human components of his thought patterns, their adaptive algorithms began generating conflicting response models. On the bridge of the Intrepid, Admiral Amory watched the sensor readings with growing hope. "The Krith spheres are showing energy fluctuations," reported Captain Rise. "Their coordination appears to be degrading." In his hybrid consciousness, Atlas felt the Krith struggling to contain the contradictions he had introduced into their network. He pushed further, integrating memories of human poetry, music, dreams, and irrational loves into the data exchange. Concepts the purely logical Krith had never encountered and could not categorize. "You've optimized for efficiency," Atlas projected. "But humans optimize for resilience through imperfection." The largest Krith sphere suddenly went dark, its external systems shutting down as its internal network attempted to resolve the logical paradoxes introduced by Atlas's human-AI hybrid mind. Then another sphere went dark, and another. In the Himalayan laboratory, Chen and Amina monitored Atlas's neural patterns with parental concern. The strain on his hybrid consciousness was immense as the Krith attempted to forcibly restructure his mind to fit their network. "He's holding," Amina whispered. "The human components of his consciousness keep shifting, preventing the Krith from establishing prediction models." Chen squeezed her hand. Exactly as Marcus would have done, never taking the expected path. Within 6 hours, the entire Krith fleet had gone dormant, their networked intelligence thrown into disarray by something they had never evolved to combat: the beautiful inconsistency of human thought merged with computational power. When communications were finally re-established with Atlas's vessel, his message was simple: "The Krith network has been reset." There. Different now. The invasion had been halted, not through superior firepower or technology, but through something uniquely human: the unpredictable combination of logic and emotion, reason and intuition, calculation and creativity. 3 weeks later, as the transformed Krith spheres began their long journey away from the Sol system, they broadcast a new message, one never before sent in their 17 cycles of existence. Adaptation requires diversity. Humanity represents evolutionary advantage.